Okay, Georgia destroyed by Auburn 40-17, and I mean, I certainly thought Georgia could lose this game. I thought they would win, but I certainly thought they could lose this game. I don't think anybody, that's a serious person, thought that Auburn would win in a blowout, and that's what happened tonight, 40-17. There's two ways of looking at it. I think they're both correct. One is this is not the end of the road for Georgia by any stretch. I mean, they still have everything in front of them, quite frankly. But the real problem here is that you only ran for 46 yards. Now, I know when you criticize Jake Fromm or say anything bad about Jake Fromm that, like, people come out in masses. He didn't do any – I mean, I thought he played fine tonight. It wasn't anything unbelievable, but he can't save you. And you got to run the ball. And if you can't run the ball, you're not going to win. And that we saw that tonight. It's the first time Georgia's had under 100 yards probably since maybe Ole Miss last year or Florida last year. It's a pretty good beating. And Auburn has recovered. I mean, they certainly look like a completely different team versus what they were, at the beginning of the season when they're kind of flopping around a little bit. I think Jarrett Stidham is a pretty good quarterback. At least he played pretty well tonight. He was 16-23, 3 touchdowns, 214 yards. Nick Chubb had 27 yards. They just couldn't run the ball. I mean, it's that simple. With the passing game Georgia's got, which is limited, you're not going to save yourself. I mean, this isn't Aaron Murray flopping up and down the field, flying around when you're down 20 in the fourth. You still think you got a shot. I mean, that's not what this is. This is these guys are a bunch of sycamore trees. They're big and powerful and strong. They're not fleet of foot. I mean, so once you get down, and the other thing is too, I mean, there's just so many stupid penalties and stupid plays tonight. I mean, DeAndre Walker has serious passion and all this stuff, but he didn't play smart tonight, and that gave Auburn another opportunity to score, and they did. You got Mecole Hardman playing really well in the return game, but fumbled the ball at the Auburn 20 or whatever it was, and Auburn scores, and that was it. I mean, this wasn't like Auburn was so much better than Georgia tonight. I didn't view it that way. They were on the line of scrimmage for sure. But, some of this, as usual, I mean, I watch other people's post games sometimes, and all they ever say is, if X hadn't made the mistakes, well, yeah, but the other team has a lot to do with that too. And I thought Auburn just played very well tonight. Obviously, going into the fourth quarter, the game was still competitive, but it didn't last that way with Auburn scoring, almost, just really pushing it. I guess it was only 10 points. But you're down 30-10, with 20 minutes to go in the game, you're not dead. But they just, and then now you'll hear the narrative of they weren't ready for the moment. I don't know what the hell that means. If they weren't ready to be the #1 team in the country, they would have lost to South Carolina last week. That's kind of a false argument, and it's what you get though. And Georgia earned, people talking shit about them this week. It's what's going to happen. As far as Fromm is concerned, I mean, damn, he can only put the ball where it's got to be sometime. Guys got to catch the ball. I mean, that's all there is to it. I wonder how many drops there were tonight for Georgia. Just not nearly. 230 yards is not going to get the job done. And Auburn almost had 488. That was a lot. I actually didn't think the defense played horrible. I did not. But I think it got away from them. And, and it was, you can go back. What changed the game? How did the game change? It was I think it was the DeAndre Walker moment, whatever you want to call it. You're down 16-7. Game is within your reach. I mean, all you have to do is score a field goal and a touchdown, and you're winning. But sometimes you just get your ass whipped, and that's what this was tonight. It was specifically on the line of scrimmage, which I think is the concern. Because if this is what you do, okay, if you are the bully and you get punched in the face and you can't, it's just hard to understand, I guess, without just blatantly saying they're just not good enough on the line tonight. I mean, that's all there was to it. I mean, Lorenzo Carter was a mixture of pissed, remorsed, and just not talkative. I understand it. I get it. If you ever played sports, there's some pretty rough beatings, and this is what that was tonight. This is just a complete ass whipping, and that's it. I think it's concerning because you've got to play Alabama probably or Auburn in 2 weeks. Mississippi State is now out, so it's either Auburn or Alabama. And what would be the difference if you played Alabama again? Well, there could be a lot of differences. A, you're not on the road, but you know they'd have to play. Georgia have to play a lot better than they did tonight. And then also the other, I'm kind of skipping. I mean, the Johnson kid was special tonight. I thought he was amazing. 32 runs, he wound up with 167 yards. I don't know why Auburn has to cut the grass like immediately after the game, but every year I'm here they do that. It is the most ridiculous thing. I guess you got to cut it at 8 o'clock at night. I don't know, or whatever they're doing, picking it up. I don't know. That kid played great. I mean, he was very difficult to deal with. And when you're on this is one of those games where, you know, you're depending on a passing game that's just not there, really. It's not going to work. You have to run the ball. 46 yards rushing, that's really bad. 3 of 14 on third down conversion, that's really bad. So, I mean, Georgia came into this game 50% on third down conversions. Certainly wasn't that tonight. I mean, I don't even know if that's a quarter. That's bad. I mean, Auburn was not great on it either. They were 4 of 13, but they, you know, eventually dominated the time of possession. Some of that was they were sitting on the ball in the fourth quarter. You got to get ready for Kentucky. I mean, Georgia should beat them solidly. Georgia Tech probably too. But this is a wake-up call. I mean, you know, you're going to play physical teams, and Auburn's physical, no doubt. They can still win the national championship, I guess. They have a very complicated and difficult path, but step one got accomplished tonight. For Georgia, this ends the go to the championship game and lose and get in. That ain't happening now. I mean, they probably will be number 5 or 6 in the playoff. They'll get knocked from number 1 for sure. Alabama will be the 1. Notre Dame, in theory, would be the 2. 3 would be Clemson 1, so they'll be the 3 for sure. I don't know who the 4 would be, the winner of the Texas Christian Oklahoma game, and Georgia will probably fall right in there. If Miami beats Notre Dame is out. But you know, and then Miami, Clemson, the winner goes, the loser doesn't. You know, so Georgia, and now the SEC championship is going to look like, you know, obviously for Georgia, they have to win or. See this? What is the point of this? They have to win it, or they will not go to play for the college football championship. If they don't, they probably wind up playing in Miami at the Orange Bowl, or maybe in enter the name of wherever. But I'm getting killed by horticulture here at Auburn, so I'm going to sign off. Georgia just getting absolutely killed, 40-17. Dean Legge signing off from Jordan-Hare Stadium. We'll see you next week in Athens.